Here's an extended discussion on world wars and their untold stories, delving into the fascinating tales of spies, resistance movements, and forgotten battles that defined these monumental conflicts. Introduction: the two world wars, though often narrated through the lens of grand battles and political strategies, are rich with untold stories of bravery, intelligence, and sacrifice. Beyond the generals and leaders, ordinary men and women spies, resistance fighters, and unsung soldiers played pivotal roles in shaping the outcome of these conflicts. Their actions reveal the deeply human side of war, filled with resilience, ingenuity, and courage. 1. The role of spies in shaping the wars. World War I. Mata Hari, the exotic spy. Mata Hari, a Dutch dancer, became an infamous figure during WWI. Accused of being a double agent for France and Germany, her story is a blend of mystery and controversy. Although her true effectiveness as a spy remains debated, her arrest and execution in 1917 symbolized the paranoia and high stakes of espionage during the war. Sidney Reilly, the ace of spies, often considered the inspiration for James Bond. Sidney Reilly was a master manipulator who worked for British intelligence. Operating in Russia and Germany, he infiltrated high-ranking circles to gather crucial information, becoming a key player in early 20th century espionage. World War II. Virginia Hull, the limping lady. Virginia Hull, an American working for the British SO, became one of the most dangerous Allied spies in Nazi-occupied France. Despite having a prosthetic leg, she organized sabotage missions, trained resistance fighters, and smuggled vital intelligence to London. Her work disrupted Nazi supply chains and aided the success of D-Day. Juan Pujol Garcia, the ultimate double agent, known by his codename Garbo, Garcia was a Spanish spy who tricked the Nazis into believing false intelligence. Most famously, he convinced Hitler that the D-Day invasion would occur at Pas-de-Calais rather than Normandy. This misdirection was critical to the Allies' success and is considered one of the greatest feats of wartime deception. Noor Inayat Khan, the prince's spy, an Indian princess and SOE agent, Noor Inayat Khan operated as a wireless operator in France during World War II. Despite immense danger, she relayed vital information to the Allies, often working behind enemy lines. Captured and executed by the Gestapo, her bravery remains an inspiring story of sacrifice. 2. Resistance movements, fighting from within. Resistance movements were a beacon of hope in occupied territories. These underground networks carried out sabotage, espionage, and guerrilla warfare to weaken enemy control.
French Resistance WWII, the French Resistance, composed of ordinary citizens, played a vital role in the Allied victory. They sabotaged railways, disseminated anti-Nazi propaganda, and gathered intelligence. Key figures like Jean Moulin unified resistance factions, making them an integral part of D-Day preparations. Polish resistance. The army at Kryła Home Army was one of the largest resistance groups in Europe. Their most notable action, the Warsaw Uprising of 1944, was a heroic yet tragic effort to liberate Warsaw from German occupation. Though heavily outgunned, the resistance fighters demonstrated extraordinary courage. The White Rose Movement. In Nazi Germany, a group of university students and a professor formed the White Rose, a non-violent resistance group. They distributed pamphlets denouncing Hitler and the Nazi regime. Though they were arrested and executed, their legacy endures as a symbol of intellectual resistance. 3. Lesser-known battles that shaped history. World War I. The Siege of Tsingtao 1914. The German-controlled port of Tsingtao in China became a battleground between Japanese and British forces. This early WWI battle marked Japan's entry into the war and demonstrated the global nature of the conflict. The Battle of Caporetto 1917. In this devastating Italian defeat, German and Austro-Hungarian forces used innovative infiltration tactics, marking a turning point on the Italian front. Despite the loss, it spurred Allied efforts to support Italy, shaping the later stages of the war. World War II. The Battle of Koima in 1944, often called the Stalingrad of the East. This battle in northeast India was a turning point in the Burma campaign. British and Indian troops stopped the Japanese advance into India, marking the beginning of Japan's retreat in Southeast Asia. The Siege of Malta 1940 to 1942. the tiny island of Malta endured one of the most intense bombing campaigns of the war. Its strategic location in the Mediterranean made it vital for controlling supply routes. Despite relentless Axis attacks, the resilience of Malta's defenders earned the island the George Cross for bravery. 4. Personal stories of courage at Christmas truce. WWI. In December 1914, soldiers on both sides of the Western Front spontaneously ceased fire, exchanged gifts, and even played football. This rare moment of humanity amidst the horrors of war highlighted the shared desire for peace. Even among enemies, the Navajo Code Talkers. WWII. Native American Marines used their Navajo language to create an unbreakable code, which was instrumental in U.S. operations in the Pacific. Their work, once classified, is now celebrated as a unique contribution to the war effort.